Ollie Doyle from Peace Through Mindfulness, and today instead of blogging I decided to do a video blog because I thought it might be more useful, give you some hints, some tips to help with your practice. So today I want to talk a bit about mindfulness, but mostly I want to give you some handy hints to help simplify your practice, talk about some common misunderstandings and some things people ask me in my workshops. I've got my assistant, Mr. Osito, who helps me learn how to sit quietly every day. So mindfulness, put simply, is the deliberate act of directing your attention away from your thoughts and noticing what's happening right now. Now that could include noticing your thoughts, which is a difficult distinction, but it doesn't include being lost in your thoughts. So for most of us, most of the time, we're caught up in our heads, we're lost in our thoughts. So if our thoughts are pleasant, if things are going well, then life's good. And when our thoughts turn to shit, then life turns to shit as well, or so it seems. Mindfulness is about freeing yourself from that, so using awareness of the body, awareness of the breath, and awareness of thoughts as opposed to being lost in them, to help bring some freedom from that. So regardless of what's happening in your life, and regardless of what's happening in your mind, you can still be peaceful and you can still be happy. This is really freeing because it means you're not dependent on other people or favourable circumstances to bring happiness, to bring peace to your life. Today, I want to talk about some of the common misunderstandings. So the biggest one for me is that mindfulness meditation should make your mind be quiet, be calm. This is a preconceived idea that a lot of people come to workshops with, and for me it really gets in the way of mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is just about noticing what's going on, but if we have a preconceived idea that our mind should be quiet while we're meditating, then that makes it more challenging, more difficult to sit with the mind when it is noisy. So it's not about shutting your mind up, it's just about sitting back and observing that noise, that chaos, letting it come and go, allowing the mind to settle in its own time. So whatever we're paying attention to when we practice, we just want to allow that thing, that object of consciousness, you might call it, to just be as it is. So if we're observing the breath, we just want to allow our breathing to be as it is, to occur at the rate that it occurs, to be as deep or as shallow as it is. We don't want to change it, manipulate it, or make it any different than it naturally is. When we're noticing emotions arising in the body, we're not trying to be happy and peaceful, we're just observing what's happening now. And in the same way, if the mind's really noisy, if it's chaotic, then just sit with that, just notice it, allow it to be as it is. One of the other common difficulties people have is wondering whether to sit with their eyes closed or their eyes open. Sounds simple, and really it is. It's whatever works for you. So if you find it easier to sit with your eyes closed, do that. If you want to sit with your eyes open, then do that. But sometimes you might find it nice, even if you prefer to have them closed, when you're sitting outside or walking around, to just open your eyes, notice what you can see, and just look as much as you can without judgment. So just noticing what's around you in the same way as you notice your noisy mind or your quiet mind, you notice your breath, you notice your thoughts and your emotions. So today I just want to do a simple exercise in breathing and listening. It'll go for about a minute and a half, and we'll just tune into those couple of things and just notice whatever's happening inside your body as you breathe and around you that you can hear. So start by finding a position where you'll be comfortable for a couple of minutes. Pause this if you need to turn off any distractions, TV, radio, anything like that. And just find that comfortable position and shift your attention to your breathing. So in every exercise, we want to start by noticing what it feels like physically as we breathe in and what it feels like as we breathe out. So just take your attention into the body. Notice what physical sensations happen as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And while you're doing that, also notice what you can hear around you. So I can notice the sound of crickets as it's summer here in Australia. I can notice the sound of my voice, the birds. I can notice the chickens scratching around on the grass nearby. Just tune in for a moment and see what you can hear around you in your surroundings right now. And whatever you can hear, as much as you can, listen to it without judging it, thinking it should be different, without trying to change it. And if judgments arise, just notice those and then return to just pure listening, noticing what that sound actually sounds like. Sounds crazy. Also notice as you breathe the gap between out breath and in breath. So just notice a slight pause as each breath finishes, but before the next one starts. So notice that little moment of silence in there. And when you're listening to sounds, also notice what happens in between those sounds. So notice those little moments of silence between one sound finishing and the next sound arising. Sounds crazy again, but try and listen to that silence. Notice what it sounds like. So this is mindfulness practice in a nutshell. All we do is pay attention to the breath and notice what we can hear. Whenever we get distracted, whenever we get lost in a thought, which is perfectly normal, perfectly natural, then we just bring our attention gently back to the breath and to noticing what we can hear. Continuing to do this over time, we get better at noticing when we've got lost in a thought, we come back quicker, and we're not so distracted. This has profound changes for our lives, makes things peaceful, easy, happy, and fun. So I want to leave it here for today. I want to thank you if you've made it this far in the video. Thank you for joining me. Please come past www.peacethroughmindfulness.com.au. Check us out there as well. Check us out on Twitter at Peace Mindfulness with no E at the end of peace. Sounds confusing, I'm sure you'll find it. And I want to thank my support crew for tonight. Mr. Osito. And our friendly neighbourhood chickens. Thanks again. Enjoy your day or your night. And feel free to email me if you've got any questions, comments or feedback. Thanks.